What's going on, everybody? Welcome into Scorchin Trails episode 2. Here on a Friday night, we're live. We don't plan on doing many of these live, but tonight we are live. It will be a little bit more interactive than normal. And we got Steven Vaughn here. I'm Tori Jones, and we're going to discuss some preseason. Steven, before the stream, Steven's just like, I don't want to talk about preseason. So now I'm really tempted to just give him like some preseason hot takes, some preseason overreactions. Steven, are you looking forward to this podcast?
Yeah, but just preseason hot takes, Tori. This is not my thing. I heard from I got sources. I got little sources everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
I heard that you're already mad about DeAndre Ayton. You're already complaining about him. And I haven't listened to either of you guys' post-game stream, I'll be honest. Still don't follow you guys on Twitter, which is fine. But at least Blazers Uprise, that is. But yeah, I've heard you're talking trash about DeAndre Ayton already. It's 2 preseason games, one against the New Zealand Breakers. Like, I'm not ready to give up on the season yet. I'm not ready.
I hate you. Apparently your little sources weren't really listening either, because that's really not what it was at all. But yeah, you know what, Steven, if you want to know what I actually said, you can maybe go back and watch one of our streams. But Ayton last night, I mean, he got cooked by Nurk. It was fine. Okay.
You had to have been just celebrating, probably. Weren't you?
You know what, man? It's very weird.
I could see you in your little room just clapping for Nurk with your little Nurk jersey on. Nurk.
I was actually live with my son's
you were
streaming.
That's right.
Yeah. So
I did see that. I saw that.
When Ayton and Nurk play against each other, I want both of them to do well. You know what I mean? I thought Nurk got too much hate, so seeing him do well in Phoenix would be a cool thing, especially if he can help them take down Denver, take down Jokic, because I just think there's a lot of false narratives out there regarding Nurk that I would like to see him, silence the doubters, silence the haters. Suns fans weren't too excited to get him, but I mean, man, he looked good last night, and they don't need him to get 16, 17, 18 a night. If he does, that's just gravy. They need him to do all the little things. So he looked good, but no, I was not trash talking Ayton. I do think his interview that he had the other day, where he seemed a little pissed off, and then there was some questionable effort on a couple plays last night, isn't exactly what you want to see right now, but it's not something to worry about until it gets into the regular season. And basically, my whole thing is he has a great chance. He has to go into next season with the right mindset to dominate, right? That's what he said. Dominating, that's what you're going to get.
Dominating.
Yeah, he has to go into the next season with the right mindset, because he does have a really good opportunity. So I hope that he's already not souring, because I heard, that interview where he responded to Quick and was like mad about them asking him about Phoenix.
I do, yeah, I saw that.
So I heard the start of that interview.
It's a little weird.
Yeah, so I heard the start of that interview, because the Blazers didn't post it. I heard the start of that interview, and there was a question about how, basically, God, what was it? They asked him about the first preseason game the night before. And Ayton's basically, and I'm paraphrasing, Ayton's basically just like, what do you mean the first preseason game? I barely played. What do you mean? Like, it just sounds pissed off. And, that kind of perked my ear a little bit.
He's already really happy here, it sounds like.
Yeah, so I don't know. None of this really matters. It's just not, I want to see him playing hard, and in preseason. Maybe my expectations are a little too high, though, because it's freaking preseason, as you would say.
No, well, that is what I would say. But I know what you mean, because for you look at Ayton's contract and you're like, all right, this guy should be dominant, right? Like, this guy should completely dominate the league, or at least dominate the New Zealand Breakers. And even if he doesn't try, or if he does try, like, he should go out and dominate. He just doesn't. Like, that's just not who he is. He never has been and never will be. And so you get mad. You look at the money side and get mad. I think if you were just like, take a step back and we wiped away all money, you'd be like, all right, this guy's okay. Like, he makes mistakes, but he does some okay things. Am I wrong on that?
No, you're not wrong. I mean, I think it just comes down to, like, a lot of centers have the same problems that, I think people made out to be a Nurk thing, but were more so just a problem with big men in general. Like, when you're 7 feet tall playing against the best athletes in the world, you're going to look slow, you're going to look lethargic compared to them, especially after you play 5, 6, 7 minutes in a row. Even if you're an athletic big, it's hard to keep that energy level up because it's physics. You got more mass to move around compared to these other shorter, quicker guys. So, like, I think a lot of big men, their motor wanes at times. And when you have Nurkic for like 6 or 7 years in a row, that's all you know. Because you're not watching other centers as hard as Blazer fans kind of studied Nurkic, watched Nurkic the past, 3-4 years. So you notice Nurk when his body language changes a little bit, his energy gets down a little bit, and it becomes a Nurk is lazy thing, or Nurk is pouting thing, Nurk is lethargic, this or that. But I think that's a problem with a lot of bigs in the NBA, and I think it's just it becomes a situation where the grass is always greener regarding that. Like, Ayton needs a fresh start, Nurk needs a fresh start, right? So both fan bases are happy right now because they have something fresh, have something new, and that's why it's just going to be interesting to compare both these big men going on over the course of the season. And I'm going to compare them. I'm going to compare Nurk, I'm going to compare Ayton. I'm going to compare those guys to each other because they got flipped for each other and because they're in each other's situations now. Nurk's in Phoenix, Ayton is in Portland, so I think it'll be fascinating.
Yeah, that's really fair. I think you can compare them. Like, you definitely can compare them because, especially for Phoenix, because they're actually trying to win an NBA championship, and we saw what happened last season. Like, they really could have used DeAndre Ayton at certain times, and he just wasn't there for them. So, like, is Nurk going to be there every night and have nice games? I'm with you on that. I'm excited to watch that. I just, the whole preseason thing, Tori, like, I just can't get mad at people for not playing in the preseason because I'm still waiting for these guys that boomed in the preseason to have big time careers, all the way back to Armand Johnson, who I was a big fan of in the preseason. I'm waiting for him to have a nice season with the Blazers, and of course Mario Hezonja. I heard numerous he is Draymond Green like takes from people. Still waiting for Mario Hezonja to have a big impact in the NBA, and then of course my favorite, Harry Giles. I'm still waiting for him to be on an NBA team. I think that would be cool if he could make a team first before we're like, oh yeah, this guy's good, he needs to play more. But yeah, so let's just not overreact to preseason.
Did you see Harry Giles last night?
No, I don't.
Did you see his stat line last night? Harry Giles.
Well, it was probably just as good as it was in Portland.
Yeah, well, since you love some preseason and you love some Harry Giles. No, he was playing for the Brooklyn Nets, right? Last night, going up against Maccabi. It was the team we played last year. I don't know how to pronounce it. Maccabi Ra'anana? Oh. I don't know. But Harry Giles last night, 16 points, 10 rebounds, 8 for 10 from the field. Is he ready to make an impact on an NBA team?
He's ready. This is the year. It's only 4 years too late.
Why do you dislike Harry Giles so much? Because this has been a thing. This has been a thing where every time he gets brought up, you're just like, oh.
Because I was told how good he is for the Blazers. He needs to play more. And everyone's like, oh, this guy's really awesome. Well, how come when he plays, he doesn't do well then? Because he had a good preseason. Well, okay, awesome. Lots of guys have really good preseasons. The preseason and the regular season are completely different. Like, that's my problem. Harry Giles can be awesome. I hope he's good. I hope he ends up making the team for the Nets and has a good career. I just was tired of hearing about him and saying, hey, he needs to play more because he wasn't good when he was on the Blazers.
You know what he's a perfect example of? Something called the minutes paradox, where the case is, oh, he just needs to play minutes and get an opportunity to be good, right? But the problem is he's not good enough to get minutes and get an opportunity.
To get minutes.
So it's a paradox. And there's a lot of players where it's like, they just need a true opportunity. They just need a fresh start and they'll be good. But the problem is they're not good enough for that. So you can always sit here, especially with highly ranked, high school prospects that end up in the NBA and don't look dominant like they did in high school, right? Or just high draft picks in general. I mean, you brought up Mario Hezonja. We saw it with Cam Reddish last year where he came in and
Exactly.
trust me, I've been on your side more often than not with these guys that come in and they're former top 10 picks, and it's like there's a reason why they're on their third team 5 years into their career, and it's always been, well, with Hezonja it was, well, he's stuck on a bad Knicks team and a bad Magic team. Portland's going to be the situation to fix him. And it's Cam Reddish was the same way. Nick Stauskas was the same way, even if you want to go back to him. Thomas Robinson was a top 5 pick, 5th overall pick, 1 pick before Dame, and we brought him in. He didn't turn his career around. And then you got DeAndre Ayton, who's the number 1 pick, and that's the narrative we've heard all summer is, he just needs a fresh start. Portland will fix him.
But at least he will put up numbers.
He's okay,
right?
so he's actually a solid player. None of those other guys were like solid players. So it's different, but man, when has it ever turned out where a former top 10 pick is on their third team and all of a sudden figures it out because they're on their third team? Is there even an example of that happening?
I'll start thinking about that. But that's like the whole Nasir Little thing. Like, he was a top guy out of high school, going to North Carolina, underperformed, falls in the draft, and you see him dunk, and we're like, oh man, we fall in love with him. And I never understood any of the hype with Nasir Little. Like, I never did. And even that 4-year contract, like, it looks cheap on the surface, but like, he did nothing to like earn that contract. He was hurt all the time. And so it's just one of those things where it's like, you always take shots on those high schoolers, though. Like, those top prospects in high school, you take a shot and you give them a second, you give them a third, opportunity, because they have a lot of talent, and they go into North Carolina or Duke for a reason. So I don't know, man.
Yeah, you know who the next one is going to be for us? Bol Bol.
Yeah, he's on like his 12th team already.
Yeah, but he went to Oregon and he was a highly
Kendrick Perkins
big.
said he's going to win the Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah,
back
what the
off.
hell, man? What the hell are we doing here at ESPN?
Off the bench.
Okay.
Off the bench.
You just made me think of
that
ESPN.
Is one of the worst. I mean, Corey, you've had some bad takes. I've had some bad takes. We all have bad takes. That is one of the worst takes I've ever heard in my life. And I'm not, like, seriously, one of the worst.
There's bad takes and then there's dumb takes. There's a difference.
Right. Yes.
And that's just a dumb take. It's just you haven't paid attention to Bol Bol for years. It's just because he's 7'2" and somewhat mobile, you just assume he can be a really good defensive big man. The problem is, fan bases who have had Bol Bol have also made that same assumption, and then they're like, oh wait, he's actually not that good. And Suns fans were super excited for him going into this season, and they're starting to realize, like, oh wait, he's doesn't seem that great.
All right, I found a player. I found a player who was a top 3 pick, was on 1, 2, 3 teams, and on his 4th team, that's when he really boomed.
Who's that?
The head coach of the Portland Trailblazers, Chauncey Billups.
Okay, so we got to go back to when you were in high school.
I was just trying to think of guys, and I knew he was picked in the top 3, and he drafted by Boston, traded to Toronto, then traded to Denver, traded to Minnesota, then to Detroit.
That's a good example. But man, I don't know.
And it was, but we talk about the perfect example, or like the perfect opportunity. Like, Detroit obviously fit his game. Like, slow it down, play defense, hit some shots. I'm gonna start thinking about more. That was just the first guy I thought of. So
yeah, chat also, if you guys come up with anyone, let us know. And you brought up Kendrick Perkins, and it made me think of ESPN, and I was really pissed off because of ESPN last night because I went. I thought
you were gonna say because the top 100 players, and your boy Anthony Simons was like 90.
Oh, that'll be next. Let's do that next. Yeah, this is just gonna be a show where we just hate on ESPN. Okay. But before we get to that, okay, this is like completely off topic. But last night I went to ESPN.com. Did anyone else go to ESPN.com? Chat, what was on ESPN.com? I assume you didn't because you don't know where I'm going with this yet.
No, I have no idea what you're talking
What game was last night?
The Blazers.
Nope. We're off topic.
I don't know.
Here. Chiefs and
Broncos. Thursday night. Okay, football. Okay.
So I go to ESPN and the main image is like a video, and the caption is Brittany Mahomes and Taylor Swift embrace each other.
Breaking news.
I am so tired of the Taylor Swift stuff, man.
Why? You got a problem with Taylor Swift?
I don't have a problem with Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift is fine. The problem is It's being shoved down our throats for 5 weeks straight. Like,
Well,
why
okay,
is it the front page at ESPN? Are you
What would you
defending?
rather have him show? Just some weird drunk dude in the crowd, or Taylor Swift? Like, who cares?
It's a sports network. Show sports. The Phillies beat the Braves. Do you care about baseball at all?
Oh yeah, dude, I love baseball.
Yeah, I mean the Phillies.
Baseball's my first love.
The Phillies beat the Braves. You got Thursday night football. You even got NBA preseason action if you want to be dumb with it. But instead, we get Brittany Mahomes and Taylor Swift front page. Just disgusting.
Another guy is Lauri Markkanen. Would you say him?
That's actually probably. He was
good.
Yeah,
he was solid
wasn't
with
like
Chicago and Cleveland.
He wasn't like bad.
Right.
I'm looking for a player
So
that
we're
was
talking,
like bad.
we're talking like bad.
Yeah,
Okay.
like because Cam Reddish has been bad, Mario Zoni has been bad, Nick Stauskas was bad. Like all these guys were bad.
I'll keep looking. But yeah, Markkanen is a guy, third team, popped to an all-star, but yeah, he's not bad. So okay. No, but Taylor Swift. Okay, here's my Taylor Swift take. I like Taylor Swift because she writes her own music and she performs her own music, and I think that is very underrated. Like, you as a content creator there, Tori, you should respect that, because there's a lot of people that don't write their own music and they don't even necessarily perform. Like, it's her out there and she does it. So for that, I respect it. I don't care. The music is what it is. I don't have a problem with it, but I don't have a problem with them showing Taylor Swift. Like, she is a super duper star. And so they're going to show her. Of course they are. Like, who else are they going to show? I don't want to see Brittany Mahomes. I'd rather see Taylor Swift. She is unbelievably famous.
Okay, I did not expect this podcast to become you defending Taylor Swift. I
love Taylor Swift.
I'm not disrespecting her as a musician. I'm disrespecting her as a sports icon. This is what I'm doing.
She's a sports icon.
Apparently ESPN, because they want to throw her up on the front page every time the Chiefs are in the news.
You know what? You should throw Taylor Swift up on your YouTube channels and you'll probably get more clicks. Like, that's not a terrible idea.
Does Scoot Henderson need a Taylor Swift in his life?
Is Scoot Henderson dating Taylor Swift? We'll break it down.
Scoot Henderson steals Taylor Swift from Travis Kelce. These are some good video ideas. See, this is why I keep you around as like a media guy, because you have these great ideas. So
let's see. I'm trying to think of I got to go back and look at NBA drafts. That's what I'm doing. Okay. Sorry.
You're good.
We'll continue.
So let's segue onto the top 100 list, which, okay, let me just say this. Like, I understand ESPN's NBA top 100 list is supposed to have some controversial rankings in it because that's what gets clicks and that's their job, right? Like, I understand the game that's being played there. If they had the perfect top 100 list, nobody would talk about it. And it wouldn't be successful. Unfortunately, that's just the way it is. But, Anthony Simons gets ranked, what was he, 85th on their top 100?
Yeah, I think he was, 92 the season before, and then he was something like that. I'll check it out, but yeah, it was right around in the mid-low 80s.
Yeah, so as our resident Anthony Simons hater, do you think that's too high or too low?
I mean, okay, so I don't know that it's necessarily too high or too low. I kind of think it's about right, because here's my thing with Anthony Simons. Very efficient, can score the basketball. You're going to argue with me that he's a better defender than what I give him credit for. Okay, that's fine. But I think we can both agree he's not a great defender. 85th, by the way. You're right. Not a great defender. So to be a 6'3" guard who is a good scorer and not a good defender, I think you could find those guys in the NBA. Like, not to that efficiency that he has necessarily, but you can find guys that can score 21 points a game, because all these dudes are that good in the NBA. Look at like Tyler Hero. Nobody wants Tyler Hero. Tyler Hero is a better player than Anthony Simons.
What is he better at than Anthony Simons?
Everything. He's better offensively than Anthony Simons.
What is he better at? He's not a better three-point shooter, not better inside the arc. I mean, this is just statistically speaking. Better at creating less efficient shots?
All right.
Because he's less efficient from inside.
He's also done it in big-time situations, right?
What, like last year?
Playoffs?
Like,
yeah,
when they made the finals without him. I mean, he did it in the bubble.
They literally are the exact same three-point percentage. I don't know what you're talking about.
Last year. Well, you said he's better. Last season. Anthony
Yeah,
Simons, more
37.7.
volume?
Tyler
Okay,
Hero,
so let's look at the
37.8.
volume. Let's look at the volume. I'm on Basketball Reference right now.
Tyler Hero is a better. I think. Look, this is just me. I think Tyler Hero is a better creator. I think he's just a little better offensively. I'm not saying that Tyler Hero is awesome either. Like that's why the Blazers didn't want him. But what I'm saying is Anthony Simons, like, you can find dudes that can just score the basketball, like, right, and that don't play defense or don't play great defense.
The problem is they're all, for whatever reason, all these like similar players are all regarded much higher than Anthony Simons. Even Tyler Hero.
But are they though? Are they? Because
yes.
Look, I don't think so, because I think the Blazers were trying to trade Anthony Simons in the summer, and nobody wanted him. Just like the Blazers didn't want Tyler Hero. Like, I just don't think there's a big need to go after and get these 6'3", 6'4" shooting guards that don't play defense and all they do is score. Because if they don't score, then what are they going to do? Like, Jordan Clarkson is ranked ahead of Anthony Simons. I brought this up to you before. I've looked at their stats and I'm like, Jordan Clarkson is just as good as Anthony Simons is statistically. And you laughed at me. And you're like, no way. But it's like,
yeah, because then I went and looked at the stats and didn't see it.
That's literally the level that Anthony Simons is on right now because of what he does. He has to improve a lot to get to that next level.
Clarkson is a far worse shooter. Far worse shooter. They're similar in every regard, except Clarkson is a far worse shooter. So he's worse off the ball. So he needs the ball in his hands.
Yeah, and he's better with the ball in his hands than Anthony Simons. That's not even a question.
I don't.
We'll find out. Look, Anthony Simons. Here's my thing with Simons is he has to do it on the biggest of stages when the Blazers are trying to win. As long as he's been trying to play, like, or been getting playing time, the Blazers haven't really been trying to win. So it's hard to say. Like, I just don't know that he's a winning player quite yet. And maybe he is. Maybe he pops and he has a great season, becomes that alpha that a lot of Blazer fans, including you, I think he could be. But I just don't think that he's that guy.
I think if he was in Miami, he would be looked at as a winning player. I think if he was in Miami, he would give them exactly what they need in order to try and get over the hump. Right? Like, it would be the same way you're looking at Tyler Hero being a guy that performs in big games and has done it on the biggest of stages. Like, Anthony Simons, I don't think is someone that is scared of the big stage. He seems very even-keeled, very good mentality on his shoulders, like, doesn't seem to be bothered by much, right? Like, I don't think it's a problem where he can't handle that sort of stage. I just think he hasn't really been given the right situation, and he's the type of guy where, like, if we trade him away to a good team...
You got to get into the right situation.
I mean, he's gotten minutes for, what, a year and a half? And that first half a year...
But here's my thing.
Dane was hurt.
So effective. He's so effective. Why have the Blazers not won anything? Not even close.
Because
they tanked the last 2 seasons with him scoring.
Yeah. I mean, they... didn't play defense last year.
Everyone
they didn't play
Damian
defense
Lillard
last year.
Is the best.
They didn't play defense last
win
year.
With Dame and Anthony Simons in the
and they were only 2.5 games out of home court advantage when they decided to blow it up.
All right.
So.
All right. I guess you could give me this. Oh, they were close. Yeah.
I mean, statistically speaking, they were close. They're 2.5 games out of 500 or out of home court advantage when they traded Josh Hart away for Cam Reddish, who sucks.
I think the guy we're looking for, Chris Dunn, that's a guy who was a top 5 pick, bounced around the league, had a nice showing with Utah last year. Maybe if he bounces back and becomes a decent player,
I mean,
the guy?
I don't think he was quite good enough to make that much of a case. Like Dennis Smith,
we were talking like Cam Reddish. Like if Cam Reddish just blew up with the Lakers, like he would be the guy because he was terrible, bounced around teams. Chris Dunn was pretty bad with some teams and has bounced around.
They were roasting him his first preseason game.
I'm not saying he's good. I'm just
Dennis Smith,
Cam Reddish.
Yeah, Cam Reddish. Dennis Smith Jr. might be a better example than
he's another one. Yeah,
than Chris Dunn even. But the problem is Dennis Smith Jr. has always been kind of injury prone, and he's always been super reliant upon his athleticism, and when you deal with a bunch of injuries, that starts to go earlier on in your career, so I don't really know how much of a shelf life Dennis Smith Jr. has left at this point. He's still in Charlotte, isn't he? I think. Yeah, so I don't know. As far as Ant goes, like, yes, he has his flaws. It's just funny to see, like, Jordan Poole get ranked far higher than him, Austin Reeves get ranked far higher than him, and I'm an Austin Reeves fan. I've been an Austin Reeves fan since his days in college. So,
do you think Austin Reeves is better than Anthony Simons?
I don't think you have enough of a sample size of anything from Austin Reeves to say that he's better than Anthony Simons. I think you could say if he was...
Let's just say off of last season. Let's say last season is Austin Reeves' peak. He doesn't improve, but he's that level all the time. Is he better than Anthony Simons last season?
No, I don't think so. I think it literally comes down to he's in LA and he's a Laker.
But he also can handle the basketball and makes plays for others.
I mean, not at a higher rate than Ant does.
On the court, though, Tori, like when you're watching the games, don't you think Austin Rivers makes more of an effect on the game than Anthony Simons does?
Austin Rivers?
Is that what I said?
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't you think Austin Rivers is better? No.
Well, when he played against us in the playoffs, but
Austin Rivers kills the Blazers.
But
I'm just talking like you can throw numbers at me too, and I agree. Anthony Simons has great numbers. I've never denied that. I'm just saying, like when I watch the games, I don't think he makes much of an impact on the court. I never have. I need him to make himself better, make his teammates better. I've never seen him do that. With Austin Reeves, he makes his teammates better. The Lakers were really good. Like the Lakers, I thought were going to the NBA Finals. They were the second best team in the West with him as like their primary ball handler.
I hate the makes his teammates better statement.
As a basketball player, Tori, it's not all about stats.
I know it's not all about stats,
but I made my teammates better.
I didn't get making teammates better is so like ambiguous and impossible to even argue otherwise. Like you could say that or not say that about anyone because it could mean so many different things.
That's true.
Like I don't know, it's Austin Reeves makes his teammates better. Okay, how much of that is because he's also playing next to LeBron, who really makes his teammates better, Austin Reeves is a good player. I just think you flip these guys' situations. Nobody thinks Austin Reeves is the better player than Anthony Simons. If Anthony Simons is out there putting 21 points per game up as a Los Angeles Laker, he's a top 60 player in the league. Top 50, maybe. We're
gonna find out about Ant because Ant has an opportunity to make this his team, right? Like I think you could agree with that. I think so. I think Anthony Simons Scoot is obviously the dude, and it's gonna be Scoot's team because I think he's the real alpha. But if Anthony Simons really wants it to be, he can be the best player on the court, and he can make it so it's tough to be Scoot's era. Like if people ask me, like, hey, what's the era? The Dame era is over. What's next? It's the Scoot Henderson era. It's nobody else, and it's no question. Anthony Simons has got to take that from him. I don't know that he will, but he has an opportunity to do that.
I mean, I don't view it like that. I don't think Ant is ever going to be like the number one on a contending team. I think he, depending on who your best player is, he might be able to be good enough to be your number 2 on a contending team. And then I think he could be a number 3 on a contending team for sure right now. Is kind of how I view him.
But don't you think as long as he doesn't play average to slightly above average defense, he'd be best fitted as like a 6th man?
I mean, it just depends on
like with his skill set. His skill set is like, hey, I'm going to come in and score.
It's not something where if you have a defender like him in your starting lineup, your defense is destined to suck. If you have good defensive pieces, you have to have a balance. You gotta have defenders. But guess what? Here's the thing. If we had been stuck as a really good defensive team that had a struggling offense the past 8 years, we would value what Anthony Simons does a little bit higher.
We would.
It's just because we've had the opposite, because we've just had a luxury of guards and guys that can do all sorts of things. And then even when we get rid of Damian Lillard, now we still have Shaedon Sharpe, Scoot Henderson, Anthony Simons, Malcolm freaking Brogdon. It's just like we cannot get away from having a bunch of good guards. And it almost becomes a situation where we take that sort of shot making for granted, take that sort of scoring for granted. Now, it's a legitimate argument when you look around the league and say these guys don't have a ton of trade value. Look at Jordan Poole, although I think Jordan Poole is noticeably worse than Anthony Simons. I'm not a Jordan Poole fan. But look at Tyler Hero, look at Anthony. I do think that it is harder to get teams to buy these guys. Part of that might be Hero makes a little bit more. I don't really know exactly what the Blazers could get for Anthony Simons. But these are also the guys where it's like just a little bit of improvement and they take a huge step in the eyes of GMs, right? Because Ant right now, 21 point per game scorer, 4 assists a game. If he improves scoring a little bit more and gets a little bit better of an opportunity where he can take a few more shots a game. All of a sudden, he's averaging 25, 26 a game. And then how is he looked at when he's putting up numbers like that? Because then you're getting to the territory where it's like, oh, you can make the case that this dude is a star caliber player that any team in the league should want. So it's just kind of an interesting conundrum with these types of two guards.
No, it's true. For what it is, I had heard in the offseason at the very start that the Blazers were looking to trade Anthony Simons. Like, he was on their list of guys they wanted to trade, and they didn't. So I don't know what that means. I don't know if that means they couldn't get anything for him, or if that means they changed their mind after, they knew that they kind of had to trade Dame. Like, it could be either one of those things, but that's just what I had gone in thinking about it.
I mean, what's the odds of them trading Anthony Simons, and then we're having all these conversations about Shaedon Sharpe that we had about CJ McCollum and that we're having right now about
the obvious difference is Shaedon Sharpe is just taller, right? That's the only difference.
That should not be such a sticking point. I know that it matters, but it shouldn't.
The Blazers have been burned, Tori. They've been burned.
If you can defend, you can defend. If you can't, you can't. It's that simple. Like.
Okay, but here's my thing about Anthony Simons, and here is another reason why Chad reminded me of this. Where is that at? Taylor Packer. His archetype is a dime a dozen. That's true. Like, look at there's a lot of scorers that were drafted late first round, early second round. We even talked about it. Jordan Clarkson, Jordan Poole, Anthony Simons, Cam Thomas. When he plays, he can put up 20 points a night.
Cam Thomas has done nothing.
He can put. I'm saying if he played 30 minutes a night, he can score 20 points a game. Don't act like he can't.
Von Wafer, not efficiently.
Back in the day, Von Wafer was getting double-digit points in like 18 minutes. Like, there are dudes that are 6'3" to 6'4", 6'2" that can score the basketball. You can find them in the NBA. That's my only problem with Anthony Simons is he's undersized to play defense, and then he doesn't play good defense either. If he played really good defense, I'd have no problem with him. But he's a good scorer who plays below average defense, and I think you can find those guys in the NBA, and you don't want to pay them $25 million a year. That's my only problem with him.
Here's the thing.
So with Shaedon Sharpe, he's just bigger, and so that you don't even have to worry about the size. Like, you don't find guys that are 6'6" that can do that. You can find guys that are 6'3" that do that.
Here's the thing I feel like you're overlooking is, sure, you can find guys that can put up 20 points per game, but are they doing it efficiently? Like Cam Thomas, if you gave him a role right now, in my opinion, where he's playing 30 minutes a game and getting 20 points per game, I don't think he's doing it as efficiently as Anthony Simons. I also don't think he's as willing of a passer as Anthony Simons. He averages... Right. He averaged 1.4 assists per game in 17 minutes last year. Like, Cam Thomas is more of a black hole than Anthony Simons is. So that's the thing.
To clarify,
I'm
not saying that he's better. Yes, the archetype.
But there's better versions of the archetype, and being better matters.
How helpful on the court is an undersized guard that doesn't really pass great or play good defense? Like, you as a player, like, do you like play with guys that are like that? I don't.
I don't think he's a selfish player. I wouldn't think he's a selfish player.
I don't think he's selfish, but he's not a black hole, but he doesn't make his teammates better. He doesn't pass people up.
It just depends on your team construct. Like, a team like Memphis, I mean, they kind of have a logjam at a lot of positions. Like, they do have a lot of depth, but they need shooting, they need shot making, they need somebody that can run off of screens. Like, that's why they wanted Luke Kennard so freaking bad. But Luke Kennard is nowhere near as good as Anthony Simons, right? But, like, if you're looking at... if you're looking at other teams that have a wealth of offense, then yeah, he's not that valuable. And that's the thing is, I just think it comes back to team construct, and it comes back to the conversation of, we've had this for so long that we don't think it's that valuable because we've been desperate for defense, desperate for size, desperate for length. So in the right situation, I think he's insanely, insanely valuable. In the wrong situation, he's probably not that valuable. I don't think it's something that you can really analyze in a vacuum. And I think if he's on a better team than he's been the last couple of years, he's given you 20 points per game even more efficiently, because that was the thing with him last year was he's taking like 9 threes a game, and a lot of them are insanely difficult looks, but he's still shooting the three ball with very solid efficiency, still shooting it almost 38%. If you get him in an offense that has a couple more playmakers maybe, or a little bit more offensive talent, those threes are a little bit more open, he's probably shooting above 40% from three, which he's been doing in his career. And even though he struggles defensively, having a guy that can shoot above 40% from three, attack off the dribble a bit, and then make the right read and make the right pass when it's there, even though he's not going to be a guy that's, averaging 6-7 assists per game, he's still getting 4 somehow. Having that type of player, I still think is valuable in the right situation for a contending team. So, I think last year Milwaukee really needed an Anthony Simons type player. I think Miami, especially in the finals, really needed an Anthony Simons or a Tyler Hero type of player. So
yeah.
That's how I view it. That's my opinion.
No, that's fair. No, and again, the thing about you and me is, Tori, we both think differently on a lot of things, but we ultimately have the right goal, and that's to win a championship. So it's always in the good spot. It's always in out of good love here. But I think you're wrong on that. I hope Anthony Simons has a good season, right? Like I hope that he really can improve, because I know a lot of people do like him, and he seems like a good kid. Like he seems like he's really down to earth, and he works hard. I just need to see a little bit more production, a little more improvement this season, and I think he has a chance to. Like I said, the whole thing we started this on was, he has a chance to really be that leader on this team before Scoot kind of takes over, in my opinion. So I hope he does that.
Yeah. No, I love arguing. That's what this podcast needs to be. We need to get it all out. It's called Scorchin' Trails for a reason. We could have come up with something a lot more mundane if we were just going to sit here and agree on everything. So.
Yeah, no, it's cool, man. I'm rooting for him. Again, I'm a Blazer fan. I hope he does well. The Blazer Uprise podcast network here. Mm-hmm. You got a lot of contributors now, Tori.
Yeah.
I got a beef with one of them.
With one of them? Oh man.
Well, I got a beef with you always, but
that's
a given. 503.
Yeah. What'd he do?
I mean, did you see this tweet or not? I'm sure you saw the tweet.
Maybe. I don't know. He tweets a lot, so I missed some of them.
He does. I need to go back and find it. Jeez. Hold on. Searching.
The suspense.
The suspense. Dun, dun, dun,
I wish I had suspense.
Oh, yeah, here it is.
Music to play right now.
October 10th. This is the Breakers game, right? Against New Zealand?
Yes.
He puts out, it's really a shame Brogdon is going to take out most of the minutes Mays would get, because he's a very serviceable backup point guard. He is a legit NBA player. Yeah, it's really a shame that the reigning 6th man of the year is going to get minutes over Skylar Mays, who's bounced around the league and is on a 2-way contract that couldn't get a regular NBA deal. That's my beef.
Skylar Mays hasn't bounced around the league, though.
He's been on, 2 teams already? And how many years?
This is his second team.
How many years has he been in the NBA?
This is he's going into his 4th year in the NBA. He was stuck in Atlanta behind Trae Young, and
he couldn't even get a regular contract, Tori. He's on 2-way. Why?
Let me just say this. He hasn't had as much of an opportunity as Cam Reddish or Nick Stauskas, or these are the type of guys who take a chance on. He looked...
I like Skylar Mays. I'm not saying I don't. I'm just saying let's not at one preseason game. Let's not just say, hey, he deserves time over the reigning 6th man of the year.
No, I don't think that's what he was saying. I think this is what he was saying was.
This goes back to 2 years ago when I read a Trenton Watford is the next Julius Randle tweet, and I wanted to stab my eyeballs out.
That was one person, man. That was what I don't think.
God.
I think 99.9% of Blazer fans would have said, no, that's a little too far. Here's the thing with Skylar Mays. He looked really...
another Blazer podcaster, by the way.
He looked really, really good to end last season, but it was for a tanking team. But, he looked very steady and made the right decisions and shot the ball well and averaged 8 assists a game without much offensive talent around him, right? And I think it's sort of the situation where, I think he's saying, and I'm not trying to speak for him or anything, I'm just taking a guess here, but I think he's saying it would be better to trade Malcolm Brogdon and get value back for him and then see if Skylar Mays can continue to do what he did last year in a situation that would be a little bit more legitimate and legitify him as an NBA guy.
Well, hey, look, I like 503. I don't know that I follow him. I don't follow a lot of people, though, so that's...
You don't even follow the Blazers Uprise Twitter account.
I don't. That's a me problem, but... So I don't have a problem with him. I was just kind of trolling here and on Twitter when I replied to it, but I agree. Skylar Mays is a good player, but let's not, again, it's preseason. Let's not overreact to just like a couple bad plays and say, hey, Malcolm Brogdon, let's not get minutes. Just put out like, hey, I think Skylar Mays could be a serviceable guy in the NBA. Not like, hey, he deserves minutes over Malcolm Brogdon. That's my problem.
Oh man.
I see. My problem is I take these things too seriously. I read one tweet and I go with it. I'm like, everyone thinks this way. Everybody is crazy. Everyone's on crazy pills.
You just hate bench players. It's because you were a starter your whole career. You hate bench players.
Yeah. I'm a star.
Because they were the ones who would take you out of the game.
No, they wouldn't. You know why? I just play the whole game.
Really?
I'm Travis Hunter out there.
How many minutes a game did you play in college?
I don't know. Do you want me to look it up? I don't think there's the stats don't go back that far.
No.
I think
you were first team all league, and
I think my senior year I averaged probably like 29 minutes a game or something.
Oh, I was talking about in college.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
You played 4 years. Yeah, I'm thinking like JUCO. JUCO played 4 years.
When I was in JUCO, I was mid 30s for sure.
Yeah.
There's numerous games where I wouldn't go out.
Yeah, I was like 8.
Yeah, you were the guy coming in to spell me.
Ugh. It was disgusting. It was gross. But
so that's just my thing. Again, preseason is fun. Like basketball is back. We could be excited about the Blazers, but let's just calm the takes down a little bit. All right, just calm down. That's all I ask for.
Taylor says Reddit is fuming at these basketball stories right now. Yeah, I want Reddit to yell at him. That's why I'm bringing up his college days, because Reddit can't stand it when I talk about myself.
Receipts. And so, hey, no disrespect to 503. I respect 503.
He's okay.
I just didn't respect that take.
He's pretty good about being chill. You know, he runs Twitter Spaces.
It's an unchill take.
He runs Twitter Spaces, and I was listening into a couple of them this offseason, and there's like Miami Heat fans coming in there like, the audacity of you Blazer fans, the way you talk about our franchise. And he's just like, yeah, I understand how you feel. Like, he is very even keeled. He's the Anthony Simons of the Blazers Uprise podcast network. He's the Anthony Simons.
So he has the opportunity.
So no wonder you don't like him.
No wonder I don't like his takes. No, just kidding.
Oh man, but yeah, well, I want to do like weekend shows, roundtable shows where we get like 3 or 4 people kind of around the horn style things. So maybe you will get your opportunity at some point this season.
I got no problem with them. I just like to troll a little bit, and I tell you this story all the time. I definitely respect what you do, and so if you vouch for somebody, I got their back. So that's what it is. I just didn't like the take.
Yep. We can take questions from chat. Is there any? Oh, did you see Wemby tonight?
What? Yeah, I did.
Dude, oh my god.
He legit got a screen from 32 feet and then crossed over between the legs left-handed and then goes step back jumper.
That's in and out into the cross. Oof.
That is one of the best plays I've ever seen in my life. Like I showed my wife that. I'm like, Ella, did you see this? That was insane. She's like, yeah, cool, Steven.
He's one of those guys that like when he's on TV, I will not be able to refuse watching the game.
Think how close the Blazers were to getting Victor Wembanyama, and all the Blazer problems would have been solved. Literally every single one. Ownership.
We would have 1,000 people in chat right now because that's how much the channel would have blown up. Yeah, people are like, when we moved up to 3. I was very sad that we didn't get 1. And people in our chat were like, why are you so sad? And it's like, because I want freaking Wemby. Like, what do you mean?
We wouldn't even be complaining about Jody Allen or Burt Colt. We'd be like, oh yeah, Wembanyama is going to solve everything.
Yeah, Dame and Wembanyama are going to win a chip together. Like, Dame would still be here.
Oh, 100%. Actually, I don't know. Knowing what you know now, you don't think Joe Cronin would have tried to trade Dame?
No, I think Joe Cronin would have been saved where it's a situation where like he doesn't have his Dame replacement and it's like the team should be really freaking good next year because you got Wemby and he's going to be really, really good. And for as bad as our defense is, if there's one guy that could maybe come in and like fix it, it's Wembanyama. I mean, did you see a couple of the defensive possessions today where he just like controls the whole end of the floor? So
I agree. He was like, obviously the perfect guy, but like knowing what Cronin did leading up to all this Dame stuff, and then knowing what Cronin did like to trade Dame, you don't think there's a chance like Cronin's like, I'm kind of done with you, bro. Like I kind of just want you out.
No, because Dame would have never requested a trade, and Cronin would have like.
And he could, he could. That would have been too much backlash.
If they got Wemby and then Cronin like is trying to force Dame out, he would have gotten.
Bad luck.
I
think even I might be pissed on that one.
Even when he got Scoot, he didn't want to look like he was the one forcing Dame out. He wanted it to look like it was everything on Dame's end, and he was getting screwed by the agent, and he just had to do what's best for the team, and then he does all the trades, and now he's some savior, because now we actually have a great young core, and this and that. Like, you know, he cares about his PR, so no, there's no chance of that. And he could have sat there. That was the thing. With Wemby, they could have played both timelines at the same time and been fine.
That's a good point.
So
you're right.
I wish, man. I wish.
Yeah, Javon, who needs Wemby? Let's go get Kai Jones. I agree.
Do you have any Kai Jones thoughts?
I don't know. I hope he's okay.
Dude, I thought he was going to be so good, actually. And
he dunked all over Wemby in the Summer League.
And he can kind of dribble and kind of shoot.
Yeah. He's really talented.
Is he like, he's like Myers Leonard, where physically he's very gifted, and Myers Leonard couldn't really dribble or do much anything other than shoot, but he could shoot, right? And he was tall. But it's just like the head on their shoulders just wasn't what it needed to be in order to get them to greatness, right? Like that was a big problem with Myers, just with like his mental approach to the game.
Is he the guy that defines the Neil O'Shea era the most?
Is he? Because was that his draft pick?
Wasn't it?
Yeah, but because
O'Shea. No, it was because O'Shea took credit for Dame.
Yeah, but no, this is what I'm saying is when it comes to Dame, nobody wanted to give O'Shea credit like that was his pick, right? It was like they already laid the groundwork.
That's what I'm saying, though. That was the year before. The next year was Leonard.
No, Myers Leonard and Damian Lillard got drafted in the same draft.
Oh, they did. That's right, they did.
Yeah. Yeah, 6 and 11.
That's right. I was thinking he was with CJ. No, CJ was by himself. Yeah.
So that's the thing. Is
CJ was the next year.
Like, does O'Shea not get credit for Dame, but gets credit for Myers Leonard because Myers Leonard was bad?
He gets credit for Myers and no credit for Dame. I agree.
Yeah.
Screw that guy.
I mean, it kind of does. I think Taylor Patterson,
Leonard has some funny stats, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, wasn't he like 50, 40, 90 one year or something? And it's just like he didn't do much. Like he didn't.
He also played an entire season, which was only 33 games, where he didn't have a block shot
as a 7-footer. That's insane. That's insane. Like he was so okay. Who's more allergic to this skill?
According to my counting, he had 43 straight games without a block shot.
Okay, is he more allergic?
43.
Is he more allergic to blocking shots, or is Jeremy Grant more allergic to getting rebounds?
Ooh, that's a good question. It might be Grant. The thing is if Jeremy Grant rebounded, like he would be so much better, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
Like it's not that hard to rebound. Like it's just about being in position.
Boxing out and then pursuing the ball. The ball's in the air, go grab it.
Out necessarily. Like, it's just go run and get it. Like just be in the right spot. Because in the NBA, a lot of dudes just run back on defense. They didn't go for it.
You could take a prehistoric caveman and he would figure out, go grab ball. But Jeremy Grant just, I don't know. He just doesn't rebound. I don't get it.
I also think rebounding is just like one of the more overrated stats in the NBA. So,
how I'll put it is like maybe rebounding as a stat might be overrated. Like if you're boxing out and helping your team get rebounds, then that is more meaningful than just grabbing the rebounds yourself, right? Like Russell Westbrook's rebounds, I never thought really mattered because it was like Steven Adams would box out one or two guys and then let Russ grab the rebound.
Well, and like 50% of his rebounds were all uncontested. It was just him.
Yeah, exactly. So, it's like Josh Hart's rebounding was very valuable because he, for his size, would pursue the hell out of the ball. And didn't really give up many offensive rebounds. The problem is, like, a Drew Eubanks, okay, like, you got to bring up Eubanks.
No,
We haven't brought him up this stream.
No.
So that was the problem with Drew Eubanks, is, like, rebounding stat-wise, it wasn't bad, but, like, he would give up so many offensive rebounds.
Don't hate on Drew.
That's so fun that they get to have that.
My youngest son's favorite player is Eubanks.
Well, does he like Nurk?
I don't know that he knows who Nurk is.
Oh.
No. He likes Drew Eubanks and Jimmy Butler.
Huh, weird.
Those are his two favorite players, Jimmy Butler and Drew Eubanks. He's 4.
Yeah. He was in the video. He's in the 101.
Yeah.
He was the one
Jimmy Butler. He likes Jimmy Butler because my dad showed him a video of Jimmy Butler walking around with his shirt off, and so now he takes his shirt off and says he's Jimmy Butler.
That's actually hilarious.
Yeah. And then he likes, I don't know why he likes Drew Eubanks. I think it's just because he dunks, but
yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah. When we played 1-on-1 and he came running across the court when you were shooting your fadeaway, do you know what play I'm talking about?
No. I blocked that day out.
Did you not watch back the video at all?
No, I watched some of it. Only my shots. Usually
your shot. It was one of your shots. Yeah.
I'm joking.
Yeah.
What was he doing?
No, there's just a play where like he was running across the court behind you, randomly ran onto the court, and you were shooting a turnaround fadeaway when he was like right behind you. I'm like, oh my goodness, he's gonna fade away into his kid and step on his kid.
If it's the oldest one would probably.
No, it was the youngest one.
Yeah, the little one, he's fine. You could nail that guy. He's okay with everything.
But you're a big dude. I was scared.
That's
I let you score because of it.
Rude. That's rude.
So it was really good job by your son
it was a low blow.
Help you out.
Low blow, dog.
When are we getting the rematch too? When do you want the rematch?
Whenever you want.
Okay, my ankle is like 75-80%.
Oh yeah, you're gonna be complaining about your ankle. Jeez.
I will play you on a.
Have you ever had like a serious injury?
No, this is the most serious injury I've ever had.
Yeah, I never like tore anything. I've hurt my ankle really bad. But I hurt my hip really bad one time in high school. But yeah, ankles, dude, this is the worst.
I played on it yesterday and was decent. I just can't like layups off of one leg off my ankle is just not fun at all.
That's why you just shoot threes, dude. Just shoot 3-pointers.
Yeah, my shot's a mess right now, and I'm out of shape. So it's a struggle, but yeah, need to get a rematch in soon. Anyway, we'll take questions from chat if you have any questions, chat. If not, we'll wrap this up pretty soon. Been a fun episode. I'm looking forward to being able to like recap action when you actually want to talk about basketball, because I know you don't want to talk about preseason. But
what do you want to talk about? We could bring up a topic. I'll talk about it if you want to.
Okay. Scoot last night. Thoughts?
The thing about Scoot is obviously he's not going to be able to shoot threes this early in his career. This whole year, I don't know that he'll be able to do that. At some point, he's going to have to develop that shot, or else that's going to be a real problem. But the guy, I love Scoot. The guy has like the it factor, and he's definitely the alpha. So I love everything Scoot. I love everything about him, but he's going to have to develop some type of jump shot. But he is so quick, Tori. Like he's going to have some crazy plays, but he's going to turn the ball over a lot. So we talked about that last time. Like what could be the biggest downfall of the Blazers? I think you're right on with the turnovers. Scoot's going to have a lot of turnovers this year.
Yeah, 6 last night. He was 2 for 5 from 3 last night, which was good to see. But it was like all wide open catch and shoot where defenses were leaving him, and it's just such a night and day difference from like, what we're used to at the point guard position.
Yeah, they're going to go under every single screen, and it's going to make a problem in the regular season. Like he won't have those open lanes all the time. Now he's so good and athletic, he'll get there sometimes, but like he's going to have to develop some type of step back off the screen, or just come off the pick and roll and hit a three.
Yeah,
like, he's gonna have to develop that shot.
I'm gonna miss having a guy that like pulls up off the pick and roll from 3 the way Dame does, because
that's true.
I love
Ant's role now. Ant's got to do that.
Yeah, that Ant doesn't. I feel like Ant doesn't really do a ton of that. I feel like instead of dribbling straight into it, I
think he's good when he does it too, but like he doesn't do it enough.
But you know what he does is like instead of taking the pull up when it's right there and just stepping straight into it, I feel like he'll like step into it, keep his dribble, and then like snake his dribble out to the side and then shoot a step back. Like he doesn't just like go straight into it.
He always tries to go step back.
Yeah,
always goes step back.
He turns it into an ISO.
He'll never go one dribble straight up into the shot, which I think he's good at. Like when he does that, I'm like, all right, that's a good shot. But I don't know, I'm not a big step back guy, so
yeah, it's like
because I never could do it.
If you're able to do it, then that hezzy off the screen is just so freaking deadly. If you're able to just dribble straight into it and defenses know, like, oh, this dude's a lethal shooter and he's willing to just pull up with any space, then all of a sudden they're worried about any sort of space you got. So that hesitation is very deadly. You see it with Steph, you see it with Dame. Dame would come off pick and rolls going left and throw in just like the weakest of hesitations, and defenders would fly out at him, and then he'd have a lane, and then he'd go score.
But the thing about Dame is he wasn't doing that as a rookie either. Like he developed that as well. So I mean,
yeah, but like his first three of his career was a somewhat deep NBA three. He was a shooter.
Well, I think we can both agree that Dame is a more skilled player than Scoot is when they came into the league, like skills wise.
Yeah.
But I think Scoot's a better athlete than Dame was. And Dame was a hell of an athlete, but I think Dame's obviously just more skilled. I don't want to be too hard on Scoot, because I think he's gonna learn that stuff. And it took Dame a little bit, and then Dame perfected it. Like Dame is a perfectionist in that kind of stuff now. Like that body movement, he doesn't have to be a great athlete. Like I see Eric Olson says Dame's more efficient with his movement because he's worked on that. Like Scoot has to work on that kind of stuff. But I think just overall you look and Scoot's a better athlete than Dame ever was, but Dame is just a smarter, pure basketball player at this point. Dame was also 22 when he came into the league, right? 22, 23?
True. As 19-year-olds, Scoot is far better than Dame was. Maybe even skill-wise, like Dame wasn't highly recruited. But I think Scoot's acceleration and deceleration is better than Dame's ever was, which is saying something as far as the acceleration part. Because like Dame's always been pretty quick, but like Scoot, do you see the play where he caught the pass? He drew a foul on Saban Lee last night. I don't know how much of the game you watched last night, but like he just caught the pass and all of a sudden was at like 100 miles an hour instantly.
That's the thing about Dame is like I always argue like Dame's not the quickest of guys. He's just so explosive. And you're right, like Scoot's even more explosive than Dame is.
Yeah, but then
like,
also
that's just it's crazy to think. Like he has Hall of Fame elite athleticism. Now, will he ever develop that type of game? Like any type of skills? I think he can. I think he will, but we'll see, man. It's gonna be a bumpy ride this season with Scoot. There's gonna be a lot of ups and downs. But I tell you what, I do love him. You think he has any chance of winning Rookie of the Year over Wemby?
I'll say. Before I still want to make a point about his athleticism.
Make a point. Sorry.
I think a big thing for Scoot is like the way he's able to change directions out of being like full speed or close to it, right? Like that little Euro step he had last night at full speed in the open court, but then also his first game, the first bucket he had where he like did a quick step and pound dribble to the right and then like let his defender go by him and like immediately accelerated in the other direction almost and got to the rim, got a layup. Like his ability to change directions and like decelerate and accelerate out of that is insanely impressive. And I think that's Dame could always accelerate, but like he was never somebody that would like take a 90-degree angle, 90-degree turn, or like really explode in a much different direction than where he was going, if that makes sense. Like Scoot's different. Like his movement patterns are completely different than Dame. And that's a big reason why I think Scoot is so nice, is that it's not just athleticism, it's functional athleticism. Like some of the moves he's able to do just with his footwork and the way he can explode out of any situation even is very impressive. But Wemby's winning. Okay, not to overreact to preseason, but
games.
Yeah, like the stuff Wemby's doing, none of it's surprising me, but it's also just like, yeah, okay, he's, we needed to see him do it at the NBA level, and now we're after 2 preseason games. It's like, yeah, okay, he'll be fine.
Yeah, I'm with you. Did you have any hesitation after summer league when he kind of struggled a little bit?
No,
because I did not.
It was one of the things where it's like, that's weird. Like, I need to see how he looks in preseason. Because if he looked like that in preseason, then I'd be starting to worry. But that's why I was so curious to see him play in preseason more than any other rookie ever, was because I wanted to see if it was going to look like Summer League. And the fact that he's come out and just looked completely dominant is very impressive. I wonder how much of that is Summer League showed him what he needs to work on to prepare for the regular season, to prepare for the NBA, which that's what Summer League's supposed to be. It's supposed to help these young guys show them where they need to improve in order to take their game to the next level in the NBA or prepare for the NBA when they're rookies. And I wonder how much that helped them.
Yeah, I also think with Summer League, that's more like the G League, where it's harder for big guys to do anything. Like, it's such a guard-oriented game in Summer League. And same with the G League. Like, those G League guys aren't going to get the ball a lot. So I feel like Wemby, like, is out of his element, where the NBA, like, Popovich is going to get him in the right spot, right? Make it a lot easier for him. So I don't know.
Yeah,
we'll see.
He's going to be fun to watch, man. So anyway, before we head out of here, this episode of Scorchin' Trails has been brought to you by Manta Sleep Mask. You guys know them by now. They are the #1 sleep mask company on the market. Got a ton of products for you at mantasleep.com, and if you use our promo code UPRISE, you get a 10% discount. There's a link for the Manta website down in the description box below. You guys know I love the sound mask. I use it for midday meditation. Do you meditate, Steven? You ever meditated before?
I've never meditated. I've done some yoga, so that's kind of meditating. Like, you just kind of relax and sit there. But my brain has a hard time shutting off, so I could definitely use the Manta Sleep Mask, I'll be honest.
Yeah. So I need to try yoga, especially with how tight my legs are, that sort of thing.
I tell you what, if you do it consistently, it helps a lot. Like, it's weird. If you just start, like, stretching and doing stuff like that, it helps a lot. So, yeah, no, but my brain just doesn't turn off, and it's a real problem. It makes me go crazy. So, yeah, I need that. Hook me up.
I get too sped up.
I guess I'll use the promo code.
Yeah, use the promo code. I got you hooked up with the promo code, so it helps me out, helps you out. Also, I think it's a great gift, right? Like, you show someone you care about their sleep, or there's sleep masks, and then the sound mask is good because I know a lot of people love to fall asleep to white noise or rain or that sort of thing. But really good gift. But for me, dude, I get so sped up with all the little things I'm working on, putting out all these podcasts now, videos, trying to prep for the season. I go hard on graphics. I do too much on Twitter, right? Like, I'm just always doing something, and I'll get into these modes.
You do argue with people on Twitter a lot.
Oh my God, a little too much. I'll get into these modes where I'm just, like, frantic for no reason. And I'm just, like,
I do enjoy, though, when you get arguments on Twitter, because then it brings us content. I can bring it up and be like, what's my favorite Tory argument of the week?
That's why I do it. I'm just...
so start arguing more, so I can bring it, so we can do that topic again of what is my favorite Tory Jones argument on Twitter.
Got you, yeah. And you've had a couple of tweets the past week. I don't remember what they were, but I remember thinking that would be good to bring up.
Oh, hey, by the way,
podcast.
Did you see that I broke news the other day?
Yeah, the Fox 12.
Yeah, you see that? I was the first one to have that.
Okay? You're in the lead, because I think that was the first thing broken of the season. I don't think any media members have broken anything this season.
I tell you what, I was the first. I made sure I checked to see if anyone else had tweeted it out yet. No one did, so I did.
Yeah, Steven's in the lead.
It's not that I know these things. The Blazers sent out an email like 20 minutes before I put it out there, and then I looked at Heiken, I looked at Quig. No one to report. I'm like, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna report and act like I know what I'm doing.
Man, I thought you got a little bit of a scoop.
I didn't. I'm not in the breaking news business, guys, but I just wanted to give myself credit.
We need to get you in the breaking news business, but yeah. So, dude, yeah, I just end up so scramble-brained and frantic in the middle of my days. So I use
Blazers
this
Uprise Podcast Network. Breaking news 1.
Yeah. You are our Woj.
I'm the Woj.
I'm gonna next episode. It's gonna say Steven Wojnarowski.
Scorchin' Trails with Woj.
Yeah, I mean, you only have to change 2 letters of your Twitter handle to go along with that.
Yeah.
Steven
Woj. Fun. There it is.
But yeah, if you guys want a Manta Sleep Mask or any of their products, check out that link. Check out that promo code. Thank you to them for sponsoring this episode of Scorchin' Trails. Is the Scorchin' Trails name, like, starting to become natural yet?
I've been thinking about it all week, I'll be honest. Like I said, my brain doesn't turn off. And it's what you told me, like, just remember it's ST for Stephen Torrey.
Mm-hmm.
And so I can kind of remember what it is now, but yeah, I still have trouble remembering the name.
Yeah, people. It's so many people have been like, "You should have did blazing trails," and it's like I've seen that like 5 places before. It's not original enough. So, and
Scorchin's better.
And then the AI logo. So this logo that I have,
it is clean though.
Do you know who Krish is on Twitter? He
yes.
does all these insane edits, like really good. So normally anything that's like advanced, I just have him do and I pay him. And I was asking him for a Scorchin Trails logo and he just wasn't responding. So I'm like, screw it. Our show was, I think, I think it was the day we had our first episode and I was like, I just need a logo. I'm going to go to AI on Bing and see what they can come up with. And dude, like I was really impressed because that logo has mountains in it, it has trees in it, and it has a trail that's like looks like it's a little bit on fire, and it's blazer colors, and it has the basketball going down the trail. The end of the trail looks like it turns into a waterfall, even like hit everything, man. So I was pretty impressed. Pretty happy.
Said that you created it yourself.
Nah, I don't need to take credit for things I don't do. I don't need to take credit for breaking news when it was just an email.
I admit it. I admitted that it wasn't me, but it's funny.
Anyway, I'm looking forward to college football tomorrow. I know you're big on that at 7:50.
7:50 game.
Are you? Yeah. Are you rooting for anyone in this Oregon-Washington matchup?
I'm not rooting for anybody. I know you're not a big Oregon guy. Nope. I'm not really a big Oregon guy. I know my boy Daniel's a big Oregon guy.
Yeah.
So for him, I hope they win. But yeah, I'm not an Oregon guy. So I picked Washington this week. So I think Washington's gonna win the game. It'll be a fun game though, man. It's just here, like in football, especially Tori. I don't know how you feel about it in football, but like when the teams are pretty even, I just go to like better coach, better quarterback, home field advantage. And UW has all of them. They have the better coach, they got the better quarterback, they got the home field advantage. So like then I default and just go to them. So that was kind of my thought process in this one. But me as a bettor, like I'm not even going to bet on the game, which is weird. Like if I watch a game, I'm going to usually bet on it. I really have no good feel on it. I'm not even betting on this game.
Yeah, I'm a UW fan, but I probably dislike the Ducks more than I like Washington because, man, I know a lot of people that watch us are Ducks fans, and they're all pretty cool. Ducks fans to me have been obnoxious the last 3 weeks. I've had so many people guarantee that Oregon's going to beat Washington. Like, I can't wait till Oregon beats Washington. And it's like, man, normally I honestly don't talk a lot of trash as a fan of a team. Like, I will talk trash about the Lakers or, like my most hated rivals, the Astros, a little bit, but I don't talk a lot of trash to other fan bases. When everybody is freaking out at Heat fans this offseason, I wasn't freaking out. Like, of course they want Dame. Some of them were a little obnoxious.
I tell you what, I was glad when the whole Dame thing, I was rooting for Dame not to go to the Heat. Anybody but the Heat. Those guys were really, really annoying.
I put myself in their shoes. Like, we'd want if there was a start, you know what I mean? Like, I understand where they're coming from with that whole saga. So I'm not somebody that really likes to talk trash about sports.
Stop telling me how good Nikola Jovic is. That's all I need you to stop doing.
And then I'm seeing Heat fans say, "Be patient. He's a project." Like, yeah, exactly.
Generational talent though.
Yeah. But I might make an exception tomorrow if Washington wins because I've heard so many Ducks fans talking trash and guaranteeing they'll win and just being annoying about this game. So I might be acting differently tomorrow. We'll see. Hopefully I have a reason to.
That'd be pretty funny. That'll be fun. That'll be fun to see you on Twitter going at all these Duck fans. I'm excited.
I'm going to lose so many followers.
But you'll gain respect of me. That's all that matters.
That's all that matters to me. So yeah, we'll see. Anyway, Taylor says, yeah, Tori was trying to be all Gandhi-like, being all, you can't label a group of people, and I'm like, hell nah, Heat fans suck. Man, I don't think they come around anymore, so I guess I don't need to defend it. But we had, like, cool Heat fans coming in here donating, and they were saying, like, I'm donating to pay the Heat fan tax for all, like, the annoying Heat fans.
That,
There were
I
Heat
mean,
fans doing that.
I mean, you could say that about probably all fan bases, though.
Yeah, exactly. So, I don't try and put groups of people into a box like that. Like,
But a lot of those Heat fans were annoying. I agree
they
with you.
were. There was a lot of them. So, anyway, I think that wraps it up for this episode of Scorchin' Trails, unless there's anything else you want to dive into.
Nah, we'll be back next week, right? And just talk some more preseason basketball. Can't wait.
Yep. Next week will be a pre-recorded episode. Basically, the way we're going to do it is if there's no games on Thursday, then we will record on Thursday and upload on Friday. If there's a game on Thursday during the season where me and Eric are doing a post-game show late Thursday night, then we'll probably just live stream this show on Friday. So that's when it'll be live. So last night there was a preseason game. We did a post-game show, so that's why we're live streaming tonight. Just because it's a little much to like stream for an hour and a half, 2 hours, and then try and go at it with Steven. I'm already kind of tired,
you need
exhausted.
your full energy for this.
Yeah, I need my full mental energy and capacity to be able to take on this.
You need a good night's sleep with the Manta mask and then come back fully rested. I get it.
Exactly. So but yeah, that's how we're gonna do it over the course of the season. Thank you guys for hanging out with us in chat. Shout out to anyone who's watching back afterwards. And man, it's just a little different being the host with you, since you host everything. So pre-record.
I like it.
Yeah. Next time, Steven will be back with his outro of "Come on, Blazers, do something." But for now, this has been Tori Jones and Steven Vaughn, and until next time, as always, peace.